Got a couple videos to show you guys before Milo comes out, so let's get that started.
Thanks to SPD.
Large crowd.
Birth control makes women unattractive and crazy. Would you rather your child had feminism or cancer?
This is the story of how Mlio exposed the faculty and administration of UC Davis for the free speech hating cucks that they are. Well, it all started when the college Republicans wanted Milo to come speak at their college and everything. So they invited Milo to come speak, and they're like, hey man, you should come speak at our college because we have all these liberal retards in our town. And I'm the outlier, so if I say anything that they don't like, I'm going to end up getting my ass kicked. There it goes. So then they basically went through the faculty to get like the room booked and all the security booked. The administrators were basically saying, we don't want him here because he says like free speech stuff, and that basically just like unbrainwashes all the kids at the school. It's Mom Central, baby. How y'all doing? Great. Y'all have a good night? Oh, yeah, thanks. Fast. Okay. Obviously hard of hearing, but okay. Hey man, let's get this Milo guy out of here because he's gay and he says mean stuff online, man. But they probably didn't say it that way. They might have. I don't know, I wasn't there. The administrators that were saying this to like each other, saying like, hey, look at all the people outside that hate him, and they're thinking the same thing. Like, I really just have to piss, dude. Honestly. So they're saying, hey, if we let these people outside, like the 300 plus people outside just go wild and take out the barricades and attack the police, well, hey, we can tell the college Republican group that if you bring him here, you're going to have to pay for everything. So let's just go tell them that, and then we can go fuck off the Jamba Juice and have a good old time getting myself a grass latte or some shit. So basically they said, you know, if Milo does come to campus, you guys are going to be responsible for anything that happens if we let everyone in and they break shit because they don't want him here. And that's what they told him. So then the college Republicans eventually just canceled the event completely because they didn't want to be liable for any damages that there were to the school. Protesters were thinking like, oh, we won, we got Milo shut down, even though they heard it like 2 hours late that he got shut down. And we're gonna stay here and just keep screaming at glass windows for no goddamn reason. They canceled the event. And then eventually, like, Milo got word of it, of course. And of course, you know, being Mr. Gay Man, he's gotta have everything. Dude, I can barely see. I'm hammered at this point. I am Dwayne. If I was Dwayne, I'd be running across the street butt naked right now. Just done. Game over, man. That's it. I don't know. So basically, the next day, Milo and his crew went out to UC Davis and basically just called upon everyone that was supposed to be there the night before and, hang on. Oh, fuck. Everyone swarmed Milo. Just everyone's like, oh, they were there cheering and everything, just having a good old time. And of course, there's protesters there. I mean, they're just your typical fat, dyke lesbians. And then your other tweak-ass men. And they were there just yelling at him. But of course, you know Milo, he doesn't listen to anything. So he was just out there with a megaphone, saying what he wanted to say, talking to all the people that wanted to see him and everything. And then Milo and his crew just started walking around because they wanted to have the whole crowd going around the entire campus just saying what they wanted to say, you know. The feminist idiots from the left were just yelling like, you know, the typical Green Day chant that said, no Milo, no KKK, no fascist USA. You know, you've heard it because you know what Green Day is. Throughout the entire walk, you'd be like taking selfies with the protesters and everything that were with them. And of course, they'd get mad about it, but everyone was happy. Eventually, they all got tired. Imagine that, because they're fat, they're stupid. All right, hang on. And they were all out of breath. They couldn't yell in their megaphones anymore. So the protesters were basically just like, because they were so upset. Fuck, dude. I'm hammered. This is bad. So essentially, Milo being there was like the second day anyway, was like worse than him being there the first day, because he basically just like completely cooked everyone. He had a better event the next day than he would have the night before. I'm fucking cooked, dude. That's how Milo destroyed the administrators at UC Davis. They made them stupid. So, I mean, I'm just fucking cooking. Ow.
Well, we got there in the end, didn't we? By which I mean Donald Trump is president. Oh, that's nice, aren't they lovely? Thank you for this. Well, hello, faggots. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Can you believe what a lot of hassle? Who did some deplorable and sabotage of mine. Good heavens. Well, the monsters, the unpleasant monsters of the progressive left, I'm sorry to tell you, have left us half full this evening. There is now a clearance of the square. Campus has been shut down. Nobody else is allowed to get onto the entire campus. There are apparently, I'm told, 1,500 more people with weapons on their way over here. God, it's so sexually exciting. Oh, isn't it great? You see, of the many great trials and tribulations of my life, not least of them is that I never get to see the action. They don't let me out there. I want to go in and say, hello, pumpkin, why are you so upset? What's up, darling? I'll hug you even if your mother didn't. But they won't let me. They won't let me do anything. And worse than that, bad things happen outside. Now, we all know about the left whining when it comes to mean words on the internet, and then, what is this? Oh, this is a dunce's hat. It's a party hat. The party's over. I actually have a surprise down here. Look at this. We'll save this for later in case anybody causes any just fucking hell. Anyone causes any unnecessary disruptions. Now, unfortunately, people have been violent outside, and we know the people who whine the most about mean words on the internet are the first people to raise their fists in real life. They are the progressive left. And they are the real enemy not only to freedom, democracy, and peace, but also to logic, reason, and common humanity in this country. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about their hypocrisy when it comes to mean words on the internet and what they actually do in public. And before I do that, I'll show you a brief video of what just happened outside to my cameraman.
Hey, come on! They think I'm a fast. I got a GoPro. Hey, no,
Peace and love.
thank you. I didn't say a single thing about you. You can't buy both, dude. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Stop it! You just assaulted me. What's your name? What's your name? Get out of here, fucking fascist! Get out of here, fascist! Stop it! I knew it's fine anymore! You can't fucking... You just assaulted me! What's your name? What's your name? Louis, man, it's a truck fucking... Get out of here, fucking fascist! What's your name? Get the fuck out of here! What's your name? You just assaulted me! You want to get assaulted again? You want to get assaulted, Nick? You want to get assaulted again? You want to get assaulted again, motherfuckers? Back up! Back up! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! I'm with you, man. You just assaulted me. What is his name? What is your name? What is your name? Move! That man assaulted me in the red handkerchief. He's back. Good guy.
The great power of libertarian, conservative deplorables, even in the face of physical assault, we keep our sense of humour. This man just assaulted me, and he's fat. Both true claims. No, isn't it sad? Isn't it sad? I didn't. Sorry, there's Givenchy. Isn't it as the true face of the progressive left, and as a result, they took away my confetti cannons. See, they always punish us for the sins of others, but I did finally get my helicopters. I've been waiting on tour for the helicopters. I'm considered, it seems, so dangerous that today, January 20th, I'm the second most dangerous man in America, after, of course, death. That's right, social justice losers. You can make all the fuss you want outside, you can shut down all the campuses you like, but Donald Trump is president now, and there's nothing you can do about it.
President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
By the way, did you see those awful posters hung up around your campus? Now, I have absolutely no idea who possibly been responsible for this vile example of hate speech. But I was told that the "You Look Like Shit Today" poster I think you've got some left, by the way. The "You Look Like Shit" poster would have been better off metal and bolted to the door of the Gender Studies department. because within about 20 minutes, my beautiful art installation, you know I like to take a little art everywhere I go, it's not just the outfits. My beautiful art installation looked like this. Like this. Dreadful, reprehensible. Now you're all familiar, I'm sure, with a protest movement called Disrupt J20. And what you might not have realized is that they're a meritocracy. All the really good commie sleaze bags get trips to Washington, D.C., the really good ones, and the rest, the scumbags, get left to us. Now, all the losers were left back here in Seattle, and they got violent tonight, so they got so violent that we had an LCI assault. Here's the question, why are Washington and Oregon the home turf of every violent left-wing radical? Well, it seems to be a never-ending cycle of radical lefties burning down Starbucks and moderate lefties upset they can't get their lattes. They're threatening to walk out on their jobs and their classes. Well, you kind of have to be fucking employed in the first place to stage a meaningful walkout, don't you? Very unthreatening for people on welfare to be threatening to do walkouts. Such is the sorry mess your state finds itself in. These Disrupt J20 goobers have even gone so far as to threaten me directly. Look at this, look. Who could imagine doing such a thing? Stab mine all out. Well, I am all out. Isn't it dreadful? Ugly. Awful. My speech is apparently so dangerous to J20 that they want to stop you from hearing a gay man tell a few fat jokes and disappear on his bust again. If you're truly upset, though, I do have a solution for you. It was sent to me by This is a new initiative, a new social media trend. It is the hashtag, sure to be trending at any moment on Twitter, taking the social media world by storm. It is jump against Trump. And all you have to do if you're really, really upset about the new president is find a car park and let gravity do the rest of the work. Or? This type of reaction from the left has opened the eyes of normal people more than anything that any of the rest of us could do. It is their own behavior that makes it perfectly clear what, it's the most deafening red pill, this sort of sexually ambiguous super retard turbo-les, standing there, screeching, desperately miserable because the wrong person is president. Good God. I'm constantly accused of hate speech, as though that could be such a thing. Hate speech. What the fuck is hate speech? No matter how many times the Supreme Court told them to pipe down, there is no definition of hate speech. There's just things you don't like to hear. They keep it up. Thank you. It's just stuff you don't like. The distortions of language are invented on campuses like this one of the most compulsively left-wing campuses. All of the United States. It really is awful. I was going to thank whoever put these up. It's fucking fake. Lena Dunham's seen more action. Well, actually, that's not fair because she did rape her sister, so she's at least seen some action, even if it was underage fingering. Now, what? Now, these distortions of language, hate speech, microaggressions, all the rest of it, they're invented by professors at awful places like this, and they're propagated by that nice young man, Rachel Maddow, on TV. But it is afterwards, it is later, that this stuff turns into real death threats and even actual violence. And it's just what your loony professors have taught you to believe. And I'm here to help you. I'm here to help everybody. I'm here to help progressives everywhere break the conditioning break the cycle of social justice. It is a disease, but you can be cured. All you need to do is develop a taste for it. You can be cured of it. All you need to do is develop a fucking sense of humor and rediscover your commitment to logic, reason, and truth. Set aside the theatrics, my goodness. Now, in the United Kingdom, a government extremism task force has stopped me from speaking to my own old high school. I was supposed to go back to my own high school and give a talk. And the Department of Education's Counter-Extremism Unit. I'm not making this up. Normally, when a conservative pundit says, I'm not making this up, you Google it and Snopes has proven they've made it up. But I'm not making this up. The Department of Education's Counter-Extremism Unit called the school, worried about what I might tell these poor, impressionable young 18-year-olds. Because my speech was called Feminism is a Threat to Free Speech. Perhaps if I called it Muslims Rock, that would have been all right. They'd never stop a Muslim, of course, because that might be racist, or because he might explode. Well, they do have a very short fuse. I'm sorry, they're too easy. You know, that's not even written here. You have that one for free. You actually get everything for free, because unlike Ben Shapiro, I don't charge you $20,000. I think it's 15 actually, which is still $14,997 too much. In the light of the direct threats on my life, response to my talk from academia, journalists, and even the government has been silence. Well, newsflash for radical left. You will never stop me. You will never stop us. You will now, of course, as I'm afraid has become abundantly clear to you, never stop Donald Trump. Because you can't stop different opinions with violent intolerance. And we all now know, everybody now knows, where the violence is coming from. And everybody now knows how seriously to take hand-wringing assessments of green cartoon frogs on the internet. I've come as a sort of ludicrously fabulous frog this evening. It's my Pepe shawl. Something I threw on. You cannot stop my relentless pursuit of the truth and my relentless commitment to free speech. Sorry, there's quite a lot of jewelry going on this evening. Not all of it's expensive, which is why it's making the noise it is. You can't stop us, you can't stop Generation Trump, cultural libertarians, you can't stop any of the people in this room with your raucous, rowdy, appalling behavior. I'm told that the police stopped people with sharpened protest signs. They sharpened the ends of them. They had baseball bats. There were rumors of flammable liquid. Apparently 1,500 people from the downtown protests are on their way up here, so get settled in, because we're in for a long night together. But you know what? We will get through this evening, and you know what? Tomorrow morning, you know what tomorrow? He's still going to be president. You may resist us violently, but you will lose. You will convince millions of onlookers, including liberals who aren't afraid to speak the truth, to rise up against you. All you will have to show for your efforts, progressive left, is some night in the cells. Now, admittedly, jail time is my idea of a holiday, but you all get my point. It's a train. It's my death row fantasy. Speaking of gays, I'm going to show you some gay porn. I've done this before. Here it is. Donald Trump in the office. Now, who here is gay? Let me look at you. Let me look at you. Anybody? 1, 2, 3. Good. Okay, I've got a present for you. To celebrate who I have, because you know I'm one of life's givers. I'm a lovely person, and I'm one of life's givers. Now Pence is vice president. We can finally enroll for electroshock conversion therapy. Get free! Yeah. Free from the judgmental whining of liberals who say it doesn't work. Let's find out! No, I mean, there's no reason to suppose it doesn't. In fact, there's plenty of people for whom it has. But anyway, Zap is gay. Anyway, if you are gay and you'd like to be strapped up to my bus motor, just to see what happens, then come see me afterwards, and I'll get you jumping cable up. All right. Can't wait for it, just to feel the voltage coursing through my veins, stripping out the degeneracy. So erotic, I can barely stand it. You know, the main reason I want to do it, of course, is to upset liberals even more than I do already. I'm getting to a period of diminishing returns now. Although the protests are getting bigger, I'm not satisfied with how much I'm annoying them, so I'm having to think of new and ever greater ways to wind them up. One of them might be revealing that actually, the whole time I was straight. When I was sucking all that dick, I was just in character. I'm a method actor, you see. And in fact, I'm straight. But in order to become straight, I have to first... Because I'm sort of stuck in a rut, you know. So I'm making a commitment to you to celebrate the election of Donald Trump and to celebrate the election of Vice President Pence. I'm going to be trying gay conversion therapy, just as a journalistic experiment. So who knows? We will see. To celebrate his assumption to the presidency. Watch this space. I'll put it on YouTube. Before you know it, I could be impregnating a skinny blonde, and then stabbing her for her shoes. Now, there are some other fun events going on in Seattle this weekend related to the inauguration. This afternoon, students from Seattle Central College staged a walkout. Have you ever noticed it's the students most in need of studying? Most in need of time in the library that leap to perform walkouts. And of course it's always liberals, which I'm sure is pure coincidence. Tomorrow, I love this emoji, I don't know why. Tomorrow there's a women's march in DC. And as the fat acceptance movement's most prominent critic, I'm well aware of how body positivity has affected the body shapes of Americans. So I'm very happy that they're finally going to be getting some exercise. I'm very, very much in support of the women's march. Fluffing myself. I thought it was a fly. I thought I was going to have a Hillary moment. They're attracted to shit tunas. Anything that involves a bit of exercise for our sisters and mums is alright by me, but I hope they bring some men with them. Can you imagine 50,000 lesbians lost? Lost in Washington, D.C. and finding them in creases for weeks. Well established in the literature that men have far better spatial awareness and a much better sense of direction than girls. I'm sorry, they do. Think about it. 50,000 hairy, overweight feminists wandering hopelessly lost around downtown like drug Sasquatch convention. And have you noticed, by the way, these armpit hair braiding West Coast fem-squatchers spell women with an X. Have you seen that? W-O-M-X-N? The X is silent, a bit like their own ex-boyfriends. Silent because they ate them. I wonder how you pronounce it. It's like, have you ever seen the equivalent for Latina Jews when they don't want to identify the gender? It's Latin. Or something like that. Latinx? Is it Latinx? Sounds like a new paraplegic cholo X-Man. Shocked. He was shocked he didn't have to be jumped into the group. What? What shot?
Someone got shot outside.
You got shot?
There was a shooting outside.
Someone got shot.
Suspected gunshot wound.
Is that real? Has that happened?
Yes.
It's on
Seattle
YouTube.
Seattle police.
Do we have that somewhere?
I told you I should roll the damn block. I already damn told you. Told you straight.
Yeah, stay in your seats, I'll be right back, okay? I just need to check if that is correct. Okay? One second, please.
Don't leave. Baby, come back.
All right, so how about that? Hold tight, folks. We'll be right back soon.
I'm going to go investigate. Oh, everyone shot. Alleged shot. We'll take a look here. Oh, we'll stay within the building. I did confirm that.
There is a potential problem. People are living, and I saw one almost here. You see, they're piggybacking on doors being opened, and the other door outside. And here, and there was a guy with kind of an anarchist sign, almost.
We'll get you guys some multiple angles. For those of you who are joining us live, allegedly someone had been shot. We will keep you posted. I will return back inside to the Mlio event when I'm able to get some confirmation. If I hear Mlio speaking again, I'll go back in. But I wanted to give you guys a view of what's happening. I hear some applause from inside, so I will return back inside. We'll make some updates from below. This is David Malhart reporting live from Liberty Chronicle Independent. Thank you so much again. Please share and let everyone know what's going on.
My view on this is that if we were to call a halt to the event now, we would set a precedent. We would send a message to these people that this is the way to stop events.
And the 700 that are crossing the bridge, somebody else could be shot.
We have another 300 that just arrived, and apparently there was an incident with gunfire. If I stop my event now, we're sending a clear message to these people that they can stop our events by killing people. I'm not prepared to do that. I've asked Andrew, my tour manager, to keep me updated. If it turns out that this is a fatality, then out of respect, we will call to the show. But as things currently stand, given that the only report we have is that there has been a shooting, I'd like us to carry on postponing. All right. It's too bad that after today's inauguration, that's an extra. I don't know whether it's all right to laugh anymore. Well, it is. It's always all right to laugh. Laugh when they win. It's always all right to laugh. There's nothing we can do about it sitting in this hall right now, so I just demonstrate our defiance in the face of there you go. By continuing the best show we can. Always happens that the rules not becomes a chance to quote from them to acknowledge the based on their gender, or orientation, national disability, and body actions and that's quote from the organisers. what I'd like to see is a sort of feminist Hunger Games. You know, imagine it, sort of Trigger Puff, Jessica Valenti, Anita Sarkeesian, Justin Trudeau and Barack Obama just duking it out, and occasionally sort of monstrous creatures will appear from the depths of the forest, like Michelle Obama, Nancy Pelosi.
Boo!
Lena Dunham's way to go from who? Angel!
Boo!
Except, of course, if it were feminists, it would just simply be called the Hungry Games. My theory is that women simply can't get along. They just don't like each other very much, and I will defer to the great philosopher Al Bundy, who said, don't try to understand women. Women understand women, and they fucking hate each other. He didn't say they hate them. In other words, the girls are retards. Just kidding. Sometimes I don't see these slides before they go up. Apparently it's me. Now, before we get to the main event, it's time for a commercial. Actually, let's skip this, I think, given the circumstances. We can skip over this. Our main topic this evening is... Well, I was going to remind you that my book shot to #1 on the Amazon bestseller list.
Woo!
It's funny, well, I was trying to make a serious point out of it, I guess. It's funny, you know, they accuse anyone with their own politics of being a white supremacist, an anti-Semite, a bigot, a homophobe, a sexist, a racist, a transphobe, or maybe the last one. But, well, isn't everyone? Isn't everyone transphobic? Anyway, no. But you know, this is what I hope will come to be demonstrated this year: the power of words. Words only have the power that you give them. Words can't wound unless you let them wound you. But ideas can be powerful when they're freedom, democracy, freedom of speech, property rights. These are the things on which America is founded, not the sort of language policing and resorting to violence that we see so often from the left. The book is about that, but I've saved the gratuitous plugs for occasionally more appropriate aspect. Our main topic, actually, for this evening is pretty serious. The government leading the United Nations are taking great pains to fight this fight. Psychologists stay up all night wondering how long to protect children, how to protect children from it. So the subject of my speech is not radical Islam or Marxist feminism, it is cyberbullying. I've got great news for you. As you may have seen from the posters around your campus, Tyler, the creator, is correct. Cyberbullying is real. This is... This remains the best way to respond to words you don't like. Not with bullets, but with an off switch. If you don't like... Sorry, coming up. Okay. No. Thank you. If you don't like words, you don't reach for a pistol, you reach for an off switch. That is something the progressive left needs to learn. And it's going to have to learn it fast because it's really not going to like the next 8 years. Now, of course, some people, you know, if you define cyberbullying as the left does, which is sort of mischief, provocation, and trolling, you might be worried by the National Crime Prevention Council, which is defined as the process of using the internet, cell phones, or other devices to send, post text or images intended to hurt or embarrass another person. I would define that as the next best thing to a good wank. But that... Just kidding. How do women do this? It's hard, isn't it? Yeah! I love you. You see, I'm learning. I didn't put my hands on my lips. You see, I'm learning how to do mystery kisses and all sorts of things. Alright. Cyberbullying. Come on, we can get through this. It's being treated as an epidemic in America, a sort of extension of the problems that you face on college campuses. I'd like to point out some of the major dimensions of this phenomenon. The millennial generation has been trained by helicopter parents and teachers who put feelings above everything else to be fragile. We taught children to turn the smallest of incidents into vast emotional meltdowns. Why do we turn every event into a worst-case scenario? Why do we respond to ideas we don't like with violence? Now, we just heard of something awful happen outside, and it strikes me that this is the perfect illustration of what I'm talking about. There are no right-wing KKK death squads arming up after Trump's elections. But there are left-wing protesters with sharpened sticks, with accelerants, and, it sounds like, with firearms. That is the thing. It is their response to ideas, their violent response to ideas, which we must resist with the full force of our own ideas, and of course the state must resist it with the full force of the law. And this is not going away over the next couple of years. You guys are going to have to look after yourselves. But I think the good news is people are starting to realize the jig is up. You know, when you hear about safe spaces on campus, you hear about, you know, the fact that I might be a threat to student safety. And my instinct is to laugh it off. It's like, do I look fucking dangerous to you? Well, what they're trying to do is actually quite clever. They're trying to break down the distinctions between words and action. Why? Because they want to legitimize their own violent responses to you. If they can successfully dissolve the distinction between words and action, they can say that hurting you is an appropriate response to not liking something you say. We must fundamentally reject this poisonous idea. We must. Somehow, America went from the land of the free to a country of thin-skinned babies who cannot cope with having their feelings hurt. When George Bush Sr. ran for president, they called him a wimp. He was a fighter pilot and the head of the CIA. What will happen when we have the first presidential campaign featuring genderqueer furries with videos of themselves crying on YouTube because someone insulted their My Little Pony drawings? We know, don't we, what the first social justice president will look like? If this keeps up, your future commander-in-chief may have a history of sexually abusing yourself to gay Harry Potter fanfiction.
Get out of the way.
No, it's somebody up there. It's Andrew. He's all the way over there. My God, you've got to lay off the fucking Funyuns. Right. Just kidding. Being a victim in America, being a victim is big business. The left has turned it into a badge of honor. It's a sort of currency. It's something to consolidate money and power. The social justice warrior elements of the gaming world, for instance, turned victimization into a cottage industry during Gamergate. One of them, Brianna Wu, is now running for Congress, one of the feminists concerned. 2017, and yet another straight white male is running for office. It's like someone gave John Cleese a wig and $50 to spend at JCPenney. Whoever performed that gender reassignment really should be deported. But I hope Brianna is elected. Why? Because I want the opposition to Donald Trump to look like the actual opposition to Donald Trump. I want Congress to be filled with shrill, incompetent liberals with deep-seated psychiatric problems. At least then they will accurately represent their voters. On campus, I see evidence of students eager to proclaim themselves victims, whether it is the patriarchy, the government, the white race, or the other one, or more often all three. Students actively seek out opportunities to cry about how terrible their life is, and when they can't find ways to be a victim, they just fake it. Kayla Simon McKelvey, a graduate of Keene University, which I'd never heard of before researching this speech. Apparently it's Dartmouth Polytechnic. The University of Wyoming, Meg Lanker-Simons, posted sexual comments and threats about herself, and then went on a crusade against her own posts. So she posted hateful stuff about herself on Facebook, and then went out and complained about it. And she came to the same conclusion that Rolling Stone did. No, we have a picture of her. Yes, because of course she looks like that. And he was really shitty with me. Yeah, we just had it up. Sorry, am I keeping from something? You did one funny video. One funny video, now you think you can... About a minute and a half too long, I thought. She came to the same conclusion Rolling Stone did. If you can't find rape culture on campus, just make it up. Of course she looks like this, and this is what she posted about herself. Just remember what she looks like. I want to hate fuck Meg Lanker so hard. That chick runs her liberal mouth. Does anyone actually talk like this? That chick runs her liberal mouth all the time and doesn't care who knows it. I think it's hot and it makes me angry. One night with me and she's going to be a good Republican bitch. Even I don't write like that! Meg, I feel comfortable telling you from my perch as a leading Republican bitch, nobody wants to hate fuck you. You're trying too hard, especially for a fat girl. I doubt she'll even find a date in Harlem. I mean, look at her. Stick. Too much. Too much. Ooh. Too much. No, I remember from when I had more here. They like it. Take it from me, and they did. To stick to the beta white knight orbiters, who are, by the way, they always turn out to be stalkers and victims. Have you noticed this? The social justice warriors always end up to Jian Ghomeshi. All these people always seem to have depraved sexual lives. Because these women cyberbully themselves, assuming that we grant that cyberbullying is even a thing, which I don't think it is. Assuming we accept that even the most desperate bottom feeder from the fetid depths of /B would take time out of their day from masturbating to hentai tentacle trap porn to give these toads a second look, we must still admit that we have turned into a very thin-skinned culture, one in which victims of perceived offences and mean words on the internet are held in ludicrously high and unjustified esteem. Some people, liberals, on the whole, not exclusively, by the way, there are some whiny conservatives. You heard Paul Ryan? Paul Ryan's wife's boyfriend? You see, I make that joke every show, and people still keep laughing. I'm not going to stop making it until nobody laughs anymore. You know, not long ago, 18-year-olds were being sent off to kill the Viet Cong in jungles. Now they don't even have the chutzpah to kill themselves after a good online roasting. It's not hard. Just jump for Trump. Just kidding. Just kidding. I want you alive. I want as many of you alive as possible, because the more social justice warriors there are out there, the longer Donald Trump will be in the White House. Now, liberals love to couch things in vague terms. The reason is it's much easier to be repressive and authoritarian when you don't have to say exactly what you mean. It sounds like some sort of cannon was being rolled into place. They got in. Jigglypuff made it in. Of course, she's both the cannon operator and the cannonball. Stop it. Take, for example, my publisher's encouraging me to remove some of the fat jokes from my manuscript at the moment. I'm on a Skype call in every time. Anyway, take for example the movement of hate speech. Well, hate speech is defined by the left as anything we don't like the sound of. Hate speech. I have hate speech, according to professors at campus, crybabies. When universities are this sort of person. When universities are more specific, when they try to really explain what it was they objected They always get themselves into trouble. At Washington State University, where I was supposed to speak if all the roads hadn't been shut down, is it true your state is so fucked that they won't salt the highways for the environmental impact? Is that an actual thing?
Yeah. Welcome to Washington.
So basically the entire state of Oregon is incapable of dealing with the snow that you have for months and months a year. The entire economy grinds to a halt because of a badger. Good God. Just move. Why are you here? Just go. There's fuck all here anyway. Portland, Salem, and some farms. Just go. What?
Same place.
I've been waiting for this to happen, you know. You sometimes see pop concerts like Bieber or Madonna will come out and say, "Hello!" And one of the audience is like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I'm sorry, I'm very tired. It's been a very long week. This is just an indication of the exhausting tour schedule I have for the benefit of spreading the word about free speech on ecology. I'm going to stop. I'm sorry. Right. Gender Studies professor at Washington State University, that is here, Selena Lester Bryce, had the balls to say exactly what she meant by hate speech. This is from her syllabus. Gross generalizations are hate speech. Stereotypes are hate speech. Derogatory and oppressive language are not acceptable. Use of racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, xenophobic, classist, or generally offensive language in class or submission of total material will not be tolerated. This includes the man. Okay. Is the television more interesting than me? I fucking doubt it. Unless there's a rerun of 30 Rock, in which case we'll throw it up. Jack Donaghy. If I see it or hear it, says Selena, I will correct it in public for many students. Repeated use of oppressive and hateful language will be handled accordingly, including but not limited to removal of people from class, failure of the assignment, blah, 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 blah. Basically, whatever this crazy, batshit bitch decides she doesn't like today, whether it is, it'd be quite nice if there was a bit less immigration, or I voted for Donald Trump. She can fail you. She can take your education away from you. This is what's happening on college campuses all over the country. Things like calling a man a man. Of course, when it was clearly spelled out, the president of the school thankfully moved to protect the First Amendment on campus, so they did fix that. But most professors already understood keeping language vague is the way to go. This is how they get you. Everything is called cyberbullying these days. You might be accused of cyberbullying, replying to a tweet with facts. Or perhaps, as I understand what's happened, criticizing a remake of a beloved sci-fi franchise. And pointing out that one of the lead actresses looks like a man, which she does. You might... I'm going, by the way, I'm taking my bus, and I'm going to park my bus outside Twitter HQ. I'm doing it, and I'm going to project free Milo onto the wall of their office in San Francisco. I'm going to do it. I'll move this on within about 9 seconds, but I will get the fucking selfie. I will do it. You might be accused of cyberbullying merely by replying to a tweet with facts or asking for clarification. A different person may claim cyberbullying if you retweet them without permission or ask a simple question. You may recognize this account from Twitter. It's a sort of semi-funny account. It basically steals other people's memes and puts... It's him. It steals other people's memes and puts new captions on them. It's funny. It's very good. You should follow it. But this is a sort of behavior I would expect. The desire to be a victim drives young people to claim cyberbullying. And the way they can claim it is cyberbullying is anything you say it is. Once something is labeled as hate speech or cyberbullying, in the eyes of the authoritarian left, it should be shut down or Twitter not be taken away. Of course, progressives never follow their own rules. Would you like to share? Progressives never follow their own rules. There's always one rule for them and another for the rest of us. Take, for instance, as a random example, this. Are you on strike because I took the piss out of the Twitter account? can be described as, say it with me, targeted harassment. Get her! That's schoolyard bullying at its finest. And here's another one, ending a message with kill yourself. She would fit right in on 4chan. And here's one of my favorites. Leslie Jones loves to say she's hacked. The first resort of the social media scoundrel to say they're hacked. Leslie Jones tweets on about cyberbullying because cyberbullying isn't real, but it shows the hypocrisy of the left, crying foul for things that they do themselves. When their own heroes and martyrs lead the charge with bad behavior, they've got nothing to say about it. Naturally, the instinct of the left is to run for the government to fix things. When you want a nanny state, you need babies to take care of. Unless... You know, I think this looks a bit Hitlerian, and that was unintentional. He's just Big Brother. Now, if you want a nanny state, you need babies to take care of. Unless, of course, you're a Democrat supporter of Planned Parenthood, in which case you've already killed them all. Any women in the audience who have had abortions, I apologize for offending you, but if it helps, my roasts are nothing compared to being plunged headfirst into a lake of hellfire. Which is what awaits you after your inevitable cat-assisted suicide in Lone Age. That is a topic for another day and another speech, really none of my business. It's wrong, it's murder, don't do it. We shouldn't want the government having anything to do with our speech, let alone deciding what cyberbullying is. I find it mind-boggling. I find it mind-boggling that the statement should be controversial. Remember, lefties, Donald Trump just elected president. You don't want him targeting your speech, do you? They don't seem to realize that they might be the ones in power when Obama's in the White House, but now it's us. What if we outlaw the word microaggression? I think it's very generous and magnanimous of you all to be so in favor of free speech. Everything I ever say in favor of free speech gets enormous applauses. But you don't have to be like that. They fucked you for 30 years. You're perfectly entitled to want to fuck them back. But of course, you're conservatives and libertarians. You have much higher moral standards. But I think it's very good of you to not go in ham. And in any case, the government is completely incompetent, regardless of who's in the White House, regardless of who's in the Oval Office. The Fort Lauderdale airport shooter walked into an FBI office and told them he was with ISIS. And they took his gun for a bit. Internet sleuths discovered within the first hour, while the blood of innocents still glistened on that Floridian baggage carousel, that he'd been posting on radical Islamic propaganda forums half a decade previously. People on the internet found out within an hour. Maybe if the FBI and CIA spent less time trying to interfere with Donald Trump's rightful election, and a bit more time monitoring domestic terror, we might have more confidence in them. How many months did it take to find the wife of the Pulse nightclub shooter, Omar Mateen? Catherine Clark, the wacky congressional representative from Massachusetts, recently proposed a bill called the Cybercrime Enforcement Training Assistance Act, which luckily didn't pass. The cybercrime No idea she's a lesbian, I'm not gonna shit. It's called the First Amendment. The cybercrime she wanted to stop, you see I have flags that I don't know, which is why it's okay. The cybercrime she wanted to stop was anonymous people online calling feminists fat and ugly. You'd think cybercrime would be hacking banks, or, as the Democrats would know all too well, hacking elections. But instead, she spent $20 million a year, that's what she wanted to do, teaching cops how to stop people from telling obvious truths, such as women would be happier. See, women agree with And feminism is the final stage in a process that begins with overeating and cobweb vaginas. Here's the thing. Anything the government or authorities do to curb bullying online always empowers the bullies. It always makes the bullying worse. And this is backed up by the Journal of Criminology, where scientists from the University of Texas and Michigan State found that students of schools with anti-bullying programs get bullied more. Even when you take into account the ludicrously enlarged definition, you know, everything instead. This is rape, this is rape, this is rape, this is rape. Even when you take into account these enlarged definitions, people at schools with anti-bullying programs get bullied more. Because you put it in people's heads. You tell them to do it, so of course they fucking do it. The nanny state exists not to protect you or to protect anyone else, but rather to control you. I guess it makes sense the same thing for the CIA to block Trump from being president and the government to control their thoughts and actions online, but it ain't going to work. Fortunately, there is a beacon of hope, a ray of light in the United States, but there are international globalist, sinister globalist conspiracies to thwart what Donald Trump may try to do for free expression. And the United Nations is one of them. Now somebody will scoff at that and say the UN is powerless and irrelevant these days, but America gave control of the internet to the UN a while ago. If you were paying attention to the Dangerous Faggot tour, you would have heard that from my talk at the University of Alabama. Of course we pay attention. Cyberbullying isn't expansive enough for the UN, so they call it cyber violence. You've been a very disruptive audience today. Now, I understand that there are exciting things happening elsewhere. No, I understand people are checking for the obvious. According to the UN, cyber violence against women is as bad as violence in real life. I'm not, honestly, again, not making this up. The United Nations thinks women are so fragile that words can hurt them just as much as sticks and stones. The report argues that... Seriously, the report argues that cyber touch... This is the United Nations report. Cyber touch is recognized as equally as harmful as physical touch. Are you fucking kidding me? This is a sort of left-wing endgame. Your behavior and speech online should be dictated by privileged middle-class feminists who've never done a hard day's work in their life. UN issued this report. They were so hilariously filled with bullshit and errors they had to retract it, but only because Breitbart pulled it apart. Version 2 of the report, sure to include right reporters and not instantly. But that's actually happened. The left-wing establishment has tried to marginalize your opinions and call them, what? Fake news. Now imagine a press that lied to and about you for decades, told you lies during the election, told you lies about polls, told you lies about who was going to win, told you lies about your chosen candidate, told lies about you to everyone, was incapable of telling the truth in a single story, decides it's a good idea to invent the concept of fake news? How badly do these people want to lose? CNN just announced they're looking for a fake news reporter. You've got fucking dozens of them already! My favourite feminist is Anita Sarkeesian. No, she's my favourite because she's the most tragic of all of them. Because you can sort of track as she's got less successful. She's got bigger and bigger and bigger. I called my tour bus, Anita, on the basis that when we retire the bus, it will already be more famous than she is. And it is. So there you go. Anita testified in front of the United Nations on this issue, and she said that harassment doesn't simply consist of what is legal and illegal, but, quote, this is what she thinks harassment amounts to: the day-to-day grind of you're a liar and you suck. And all those hate videos they make to attack us. And you, darling, you suck and you're a liar. People don't hate you because you're a woman, they hate you because you're a cunt. The United Nations based this report on lunatics, like a guy who thinks Pokemon is satanic, and sex-negative feminist sourpuss Gail Dines. And I'll remind you, these people will control the internet soon. Cyberbullying isn't real, but bullying and harassment are. And trust me, I went to a school in England and they've got bullying right down to a fine art. And I know because I was one of its chief architects. The only person who regularly victimized me was my parish priest. Over the years, I came to like it. Shout out Father Michael. No. Oh. You said that just after. Yes, it's a thing sort of. It took me a while to realise that other Catholics didn't get baptised 5 times a week like I did. I was the predator, really. I was so good looking, and I was asking for it in that lovely sort of frock, you know, this head chorister, angelic little voice. What was the poor guy to do? I'd have molested me. I still would. Okay. Not all victims of bullying and harassment are just crybabies and attention-seeking losers. There are real victims in the world, but uniformly they are the victim of more serious crimes than simply mean words on the internet. I'm referring to young people who may kill themselves over online harassment. This is the great objection to my argument about people who kill themselves. Well, one thing you might not know is that overwhelmingly, for a start, these are young men and not young women. To refer to a famous case, Tyler Clementi is a freshman at Rutgers. Killed himself by jumping off a bridge following his roommate recording him kissing another man. The roommate spread the footage via social media, and his friends made mean comments about him. To call this cyberbullying is stupid. It's more than that. The roommate recorded Tyler without his consent. We don't need special laws to protect against that because it's already against the law. And he was failed systematically by his teachers, mentors, and other people in his life. There are several obvious avenues of action, several ways in which he could have been saved, including contacting the police in his own university or simply counselling to come to terms with sexual orientation. We lost a bright young man, one of many young men who has committed suicide, an epidemic about which you will never hear anything from the progressive left. This didn't need to happen, but it's not an indictment of the internet. If it's an indictment of anyone, it's an indictment of people. And it's a culture also, and this is the point, that left him vulnerable to mean words. Because of course, the real enemy here isn't mean words on the internet, or the people even who police them. The problem here is snowflake culture. The problem here is that American culture is raising children who are incapable of handling words. They're incapable of dealing with ridicule and criticism. And the reason is very wrong. And they are told that it is the worst thing that could possibly ever happen to them. Now, there are some very brave feminists who make this argument about rape. It's outside the context of tonight's talk, and I don't know how I feel about it. But they say, well, look, you know, actually, I think Claire Fox said this. She's a feminist and a thinker and a writer from England. And she went to a girls' school. She said, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. Rape isn't the worst thing that will ever happen to you in your life. And the teachers went, oh my God, like, you know, get her out. And the students were crying. And she said, and the reason I'm telling you this is that if you can get over it, you can get on with your life. If I tell you this is what's going to happen to you, it will ruin your life if it ever should occur. And you will never get over it, and it will destroy your entire existence. We're not giving kids the tools they need to cope with mean words on the internet, let alone sexual assault. If you want to know about sexual assault stuff, you should read Camille Paglia, because she's brilliant on this. Nothing has changed since the 90s. The internet here isn't the problem. The problem is not teaching young people how to deal with the brutal knocks of life coming their way. The problem is safe space and trigger warning culture. The problem is social justice. The problem is the progressive left. Cyberbullying is a made-up term designed to curtail speech authorities and left-wingers don't like. Actual hurtful activities online, like illegally filming someone or sending a SWAT team to a competitor's house during a video game, are already illegal. There are serious crimes already on the books. When bullying happens over the internet, it's incredibly simple to remove yourself from the situation. You just turn the computer off. Shoddy parenting and left-wing teachers and journalists who have little or nothing in their own lives beyond social media cannot comprehend this or prepare their charges for the awful things out there on the web. Bullies and trolls thrive on reactions, trust me. Just starve them. Don't give them the attention they deserve. It does wonders, and you can laugh at them. And if you can laugh at them, you will build up a thick skin. And if everybody can laugh at everybody, then life would just be a little bit more fun. The left wants to stamp humour out because they can't control it. Because they can't stop what you laugh at. They can't legislate what you find funny. So they want to ban jokes altogether. You can't, if you're white, tell jokes about black people. You can't, if you're a man, tell jokes about women. Well, yes, you fucking can. And we will. And we will because we know that comedy isn't something used to draw a line between people. It isn't something used to underscore the differences. It's something that you use to reach out to people. Comedy is how people break the ice on dates. Comedy is how people bond. Taunting is how men bond their entire lives. Backstabbing is how women bond. But for men particularly, teasing and taunting and a bit of kind of machismo, it's how we communicate with one another. And it is a bridge builder, not an engine of bigotry, and the left doesn't understand this, and that's why they want to stop you laughing. That's why they want to ban some jokes, particularly the funny ones. Particularly the ones about trans. We don't need more rules and regulations. You cannot fight human nature. We need young people educated and toughened up so they do not fall apart the first sign of mean tweets and people ganging up on them on Facebook. I will end my presentation tonight with a simple list of steps for liberals to take, because everyone in this audience knows this already, but take it away with you for your liberal friends. If someone is speaking on campus you don't like, don't attend the lecture. And then, when you realise you've missed out on all the interesting, fun people, when you realise that you have cut off your own avenue to intellectual inquiry and to pleasure, because some speakers can be quite funny and attractive. Laugh. You might then start going to listen to speeches from people you think you might not agree with. And guess what? Shock, horror, newsflash, stop the presses, you might learn something. Terrifying. If somebody writes a book, #1 Amazon bestseller, if someone writes a book, already given me one book, 2017. Someone writes a book, I had a really you don't even cope with yourself from in. Thank you, baby. I have to come up with something that people at the pre-work are allowed to do to me. I haven't worked it out yet. If something on a TV show bugs you and you can't get over it, don't write a letter to the advertisers. Change the channel. People have different tastes, that's okay. And if somebody is being mean online and you feel as though you're being cyberbullied, just turn the damn thing off. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Given what has happened outside this evening, we're not going to go.
Milo, I'm going to interrupt you real quick here. We have some specific instructions. All of the students and guests who are here with us in the room, first off, as Milo said, thank you for coming out. We need everyone to take their seats. We are going to hold you in the room here right now. The gentleman over here to my right is Officer Ritter from the Seattle Police Department. He's going to kind of take... We are going to work in conjunction with them to make sure that you all get out of here safely at a time and in a direction that they feel that is best for that. So I'm going to let him take over from now. Milo, we're going to head out on our own, and we'll thank you guys all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your cooperation. The biggest favor you can do for the Seattle Police Department and yourselves right now is to remain in place. It's a very volatile situation surrounding this building right now. When we get the situation stabilized, we will organize you where you can exit from one exit peacefully without drawing the attention of some of the elements outside. Okay? We've already had an issue. We don't want anybody else to get hurt. So please just talk amongst yourselves. Talk about the great show you saw, whatever you want to do. But for right now, until you hear from me, we want you to all stay. You will not be allowed out of the building right now. Okay? So thank you.
Thank you.